start to see that overlap with who you are, why you do what you do, why you really care about helping your dream client, and you'll start to see where the two overlap and that you're not quite the same as anyone else. Hello and welcome to the Art of Value Whispering podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, business coach and value whisperer. And on this show each week, we dive into what does it take to create meaningful marketing that you can deliver with confidence and to grow as a person and a leader alongside your business as well. And to that end, I've been writing my book and I've tried a new approach this time, and I've been planning out all my chapters in a slightly different way. And what came out of that approach to me is that each aspect of my value whispering blueprint answers three big questions that many of my clients face, and I know my community as well. Those questions were, and see if you can relate to these as well. So the first question is, how can I stand out and build a solid business when there are so many other people doing exactly what I do, many of whom are more established, more experienced, and bolder than I am? Has your little voice ever said that to you? The second question was, how can I earn a good income if I limit myself just to working with my dream clients? And how can I attract enough of the right clients without having to be pushy, loud, or on social media for hours every single day? And the third question was, why, when I mostly know what I'm doing, am I still not doing it? I had such a huge response to those questions. So many people saying, yes, I can completely relate. My little voice is telling me these things all the while. So what I want to do over the next 3 solo episodes is to dive into the answers to those questions a little bit more, because I think once you understand the background and why these are such common challenges and some of the questions you can start to ask yourself to reveal your way forward, I think it's going to be really helpful for you and insightful. So let me dive in. And this week, we are going to look at that first question. How can you stand out as the obvious choice for your dream clients when there are other people doing what you do? And since COVID, everyone's a coach or consultant, everyone is online. It's getting harder to get through, and it was already hard before. So getting this right is really the key to building a solid business that aligns with you and your purpose, and that you can really feel confident about marketing and proud of the impact that it creates for others as well. And firstly, I can totally relate to this question myself. I am not the loudest business coach out there on the internet and social media. However, I've learned that that's not what it's about. It's not about being loud. It's about being you in a way that connects with your ideal clients and makes a difference for them, but also an impact that you feel proud of. If you're trying to be someone else, that's not how you're going to connect with and attract the right people and opportunities into your business. You can only do that by being yourself. And when you see other people out there on every channel being bold and loud and pushy, it's very easy to compare yourself to that and feel that that's the only way you can build your business. But it really isn't. It's all about showing up in a way that feels really aligned to you and the relationship you want to create and the experience you're giving to your ideal clients. So that's where you need to start. Who are you really? Who are your ideal clients? And where do those two things overlap? That's what I call your value sweet spot, where everything that's unique and different about you overlaps with the needs of your ideal clients. Find this sweet spot and you will see that there is no one else quite like you. No one else doing what you do with your personality, with your vision, with your philosophy, and trying to create the specific experience for your ideal client and the results that you believe they can get by following a specific system. We talked about creating your signature system on the podcast before in episode 205, when I shared my favorite way to communicate your value. And that's through having a system. So do go and listen to that one. It fits with what I'm going to share today so nicely. Listen to this one first, though. So what I see happening so commonly is that business owners look to what other people are doing and they try and copy those leaders and those approach. Now, looking at what influencers in your field are doing is not a bad strategy. In fact, I encourage my clients to do it, but not to copy them, not to try and be like them, but to take what you see working, to see what you like about their approach, and you can bring in and make your own. So don't copy anyone else, but absolutely be inspired by what's working and how other people are connecting, and trying to bring more of that into your own approach. But don't try and change who you are. That's really essential. The other thing is that I see people launching their business, having a new offer, getting really excited about something, which is great. But then they launch into their social media, their website, and start messaging people in their network before they've really looked at, well, what's the value that I'm bringing to this? What's the unique part? Why is this new or different or better for my ideal client than anything else that's out there? And they're not going deep enough into who their ideal client is either. And so often I start working with a client, and the very first thing we do is to look deep into their value and their ideal client and really make sure that that is super clear, because everything you do after that depends on that. So it's really important to get this step right. And so often they're like, oh, I don't need that, but I've done that already. It's like, great. Well, show me what you've got. We'll start there. And if you have done it already, that part will go fast. But what actually happens is they show me the work that they've done, or in fact, quite often they show me the slides that a branding agency or a business strategist has put together for them that look really impressive. One lady recently, she had like about 30 odd slides all about her business, but there was not a single mention of her unique value. When I was reading it, I couldn't tell at all who she was or why she cared about the work she does, how she fits into the marketplace. There was nothing about her positioning, and there was not a single mention about her dream clients beyond the demographics. In the Magnetic Messages Challenge last week, I gave the example of the cast from Sex and the City. Now, if you were looking at demographics, they are all women aged 25 to 35. They're busy professionals working in the same city. Demographically, they're all the same. But knowing those characters, they are completely different. They have different backgrounds, different ambitions, different values, different ways they like to show up, different things that are important to them that they care about. And in the heyday of that show, you would so often hear people saying, oh, I'm such a Miranda, or I'm just like Harry, or I'm going to go out tonight and let my Samantha out. People really related to those characters way beyond the demographics, and you need to do the same with your niche. So go that little bit deeper and really understand, who is your ideal client? Why are they struggling? How does that feel for them? What does that mean in their life? How does that connect into everything else that they're going to do? Start to see that overlap with who you are, why you do what you do, why you really care about helping your dream client, and you'll start to see where the two overlap, and that you're not quite the same as anyone else. Even if you have a very similar offer, your personality will be different, your solution will be a little bit different, the way you show up, the experience you create will be different. There's something that's different, and importantly so. And once you understand that, you'll stop comparing yourself to other people as well, because you'll see that you've created it your way for a reason. And then you'll be in a much stronger position to believe in that yourself and communicate that to others as well. And not just in terms of putting nice words out there, because you really believe it and you feel confident about your message and your value, that's going to come through as well. People are going to really feel that difference. So one of my first clients, Kate, she had a language school. And before we started working together, she was telling people that she was teaching children to read and write in English, which she was. But the big difference was that she was co-creating the lessons with her kids, so that they didn't just learn to read and write in English. They started to understand how they learned. They started to apply learning to topics that really interested them. And so they experienced this wonderful growth. And because they now understood how they learned and were excited about learning, there's results in their other classes improved as well. So they were doing better at school in general as well. So as soon as she understood why she was different and why she had developed it that way, and she could tap into her brand story, everything started to come together. And within 3 weeks of working together, she was talking about her business differently. And already that was bringing her clients. She'd been making a loss for 2 years up until that point. So for her to start having clients who weren't asking the price, they were just like, yes, this is what I need, and signing on the dotted line was a huge change for her. And as she said, she wasn't even selling because she was being herself. She was being really clear about the difference that she could make, not just to these children, but to her client, the parent as well. What was her service going to do for them? Because their mission was to give their kid the best start in life. And they were passionate about learning. They wanted their child to be really passionate about learning and become a lifelong learner. So it ticked all of their boxes in a way that no other person was or could do. They didn't have her background or philosophy or approach or school or systems. So her difference became really clear. And it came from taking that step to go a bit deeper into her approach, understand her clients in a deeper way, and finding the connection between the two. And it was magical. And she just went from strength to strength. It may feel like a step back. It may seem like it's going too slow because you're excited, and I get it. You just want to dive in, tell everyone, I've got this amazing thing, I can help you. But just spend a little bit more time on this. Start looking at your zone of genius. What are you naturally good at? What do others come to you for? What are your passions and your values? And how does that shape your offer? Why do you do what you do? Why do you really care about helping your ideal clients? What's the story there? And then once you understand all of this, you start to do more of your best work because you're focusing on what you do best and where you're most passionate. And you're able to communicate that why. You're starting to build that confidence and that belief that no one else is quite able to do what you do. And then you want to look at more closely at your dream client as well. Not everyone is your ideal client. It would be great if we could help everyone in the world, right? But not everyone is going to be a dream to work with. Not everyone is ready. Not everybody wants to solve their problem. And trying to appeal to everybody is a recipe for disaster. I was reading a post on LinkedIn and they highlighted that the US Air Force had designed the plane seats to fit the average person, but that meant it wasn't really fitting anybody. And it's the same with your ideal client. So it is important to note that not everyone is your ideal client. And trying to stand out by appealing to everybody, it's not going to work. You really need to go deeper. And by focusing on your niche, it doesn't mean that you don't work with people who don't fit into that. But by being clearer, you're going to stand out as different. You're going to stand out as the obvious choice for your ideal client. And once you know this value sweet spot, the intersect between everything that's unique and different about you and everything about what your client really desires, it's not just going to make your marketing feel easier. It's going to make it easier to create perfect offers that really stand out and your clients can't wait to buy. It's going to be easier for you to know which opportunities to say yes to because it'll be obvious which ones align to you. What is your next step will become clearer as well because you will be able to focus more on what really makes sense for you and your clients and say no to everything else. So you'll become much more motivated and focused as well. So instead of thinking, how can I compete with people who are more established or louder than I am, shift that mindset. Start to think more about how can I create something really magic and special for my ideal clients through my experiences. What perspective and energy do I bring to solving their problem that perhaps other people don't, or it makes me different, even if it's just in a small way? And think about how you want people to feel when they work with you and how can you really bring that experience into your marketing and messaging? And who are you perfectly positioned to help as well? Ask yourself these questions and you'll start to get a much clearer idea of how you can stand out, how you can own your space, how you can be more authentic and aligned in all of your communications and messaging and marketing, so you can naturally start to stand out without having to work harder. And often you'll be able to work less if your content is really connecting and stands out. You don't have to do as much to make a difference and attract those right fit clients into your business. So remember, you don't have to be the best in the entire industry. You don't have to be the loudest. You just have to be your best version of you and to show up with intention. That's what your dream clients are really looking for. They don't buy into an offer, they buy into people, they buy into you. So make that really come across clearly. Think about how you can start relationships through your content and what you can share that's going to make your client turn around and think, wow, thank you. This has really helped me today. And if you want to dive deeper into this process and build a business that really feels aligned to you and that experience and results that you want to get for your ideal clients, and start to streamline everything around your value sweet spot so you can be more impactful, attract more clients, and therefore income without having to work harder, then I'd love to welcome you into the Value Whispering Blueprint program. This is my signature 12-month program where you work closely with me to develop all of this so you never feel lost, stuck, or overwhelmed as you move your business forward. There are limited spaces because I work closely with everyone going through that program. Doors are open at the moment, but as soon as the next 6 places are sold, those doors will close. So book your call. There's no obligation, but this is really our chance to, well, for me to understand more about your situation, your business, where you're at today, where you want to get to, what's holding you back, and if this could be the right step forward for you. My goal is really to be the best investment you make in your business, and also your chance to see if you like me and to ask any questions that you have about the program, about your business. Even if we decide that this isn't the right time for us to work together, you will come away with a much clearer idea of what your next best steps are to take your business and marketing forward. To learn more, just go to valuewhispering.com, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Meantime, I'm Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I will be back with the next episode next Wednesday.